It's the one and only Sway, rapper based in the UK, producer, part of the whole Freebeat, Convict Music family, and I'm out here.
Okay, awesome. And this series is about content.
Cool.
So how would you describe your content of the past and for current projects right now?
I would describe my content as very honest. You know, like I make a lot of music that is honest. Like I make a music that is true to me, true to scenarios and situations that I've been in. But at the same time, it has to be entertaining. It has to be delivered and packaged in the right way for people to accept it.
Right. Okay. What are the things you're talking about now? How do they differ from what you used to talk about?
I've been through a lot of different things in my life. You know, I mean, some positive, some negative. I've grown more. You know, when I first came out, I was 19. I'm now 29. So it's 10 years I've been in the industry making music. And, you know, I've experienced a lot of things. And, you know, I've found a lot of great things that have happened and things that have influenced me to be positive about life. And, you know, I'm enjoying life and I'm enjoying myself. And, you know, I want people to feel the same way when they listen to my music. I want them to feel uplifted. I want them to feel inspired. And that's why I call the new album The Deliverance, because I want, you know, anybody who's in a dark space or feels like they need a nudge or they need just a surge of inspiration to draw from the music, not just what I'm saying lyrically, but the actual general feel and the vibe and the energy of the music, draw from it and feel as though they can conquer the world, basically.
And where do you take that, like, where do you get that nudge when you need that bout of inspiration?
I've been very fortunate to have a really powerful team of people around me, great influences, people like Giorgio Twyford, people like Akon, people like Mike Skinner, great influences of people that I can actually talk to, that can give me great advice on how to move forward and how to not just let people recognize my talents, but put them to use and be a catalyst for other people to put their talents to use. So, you know, I've been very fortunate in the sense that I have great mentors.
This one's a little bit complicated, but I've watched some other interviews, and you think about grime the way that I think about grime, which is that it's kind of a dialect of hip-hop rather than a totally separate language. Yeah. So why do you think that your opinion on it differs so greatly from so many MCs, which would go, do you know what I mean, die if you ever call them the same thing?
I think a lot of MCs want ownership. You know what I mean? They want something that is unique to them. I feel like when you have to cry out so strongly for something to be unique to you, then you have to question how unique it really is. Let it just be what it is, you know, like a lot of grime MCs are like, we're nothing to do with hip-hop. Okay, you just have to just use intelligence to say, what are the elements that make up hip-hop and what are the elements that make up grime? Are these two the same thing? Then they're of the same family. You can put a new title on it, man, as a marketing person or as somebody who wants to appear as something new. I mean, it's just, you know, you're going to do that. And I mean, like, every year you have a new drink that comes out that is fundamentally orange soda, but you have Sunkist, then you have Fanta, then you have, they all have different names, but they're more or less the same thing with a different tinge. You know what I mean? But if they were all just Fanta, that wouldn't give people a spectrum of options. You know what I mean? And you have to give the consumer a spectrum of options. And again, back to the whole word ownership. Some artists don't want to be seen as part of something that would be considered as a sister to the, you know, American hip hop is the dominant force of hip hop. You know what I mean? So a lot of people don't want to be seen as, you know, British hip hop. What's that? Why are you giving me a little sub? You know what I mean? I'm just as good as the Yanks. You know, we're just good. We've got our own scene. So, you know, the label Grime is kind of like, it's ours. You know what I mean? But really and truly, like, as people have become more commercially successful, you see the people who are originally championing grime just being put under the hip hop barrier anyway. And when you become successful, you don't complain about it anymore. You know what I mean? I don't see artists who started out at grime saying, you know, when they get nominated for hip hop awards, saying, well, don't nominate me, I'm grime. You know what I mean? They just accept it. They be quiet about it and they're like, you know what, I'm there. No.
And do you think that it doesn't, how do you think it differs then, that would be okay to call it something else, I guess?
It differs because of the level of the layers of influences. It's like, you know, hip hop is hip hop, but you have like down south hip hop, you have New York hip hop, you have West Coast hip hop. You know what I mean? If you go to the West Coast, you know, I don't know where you're from in America.
I'm from Canada.
Oh, you from? Oh, okay, cool. What part?
Alberta, so
wow.
western.
Okay, cool. But, yeah, if you go to the West Coast of America, obviously they're very influenced by the whole George Clinton, the whole funk movement, and that's within the music. When you listen to Tupac, there's a lot of live guitar, a lot of live bass, a lot of funk elements. Then you go to New York, which is more influenced by, you know, maybe the more jazzy type of things, and you have a lot of jazz loops, you know what I mean? Whereas grime is like, we're influenced by drum and bass, we're influenced by dance music, we're influenced by British things. I mean, those are the difference, the things that come together to influence the music, but the overall general template and through line of what grime is compared to what hip hop is the same thing.
Right. Okay. Also, obviously, I'm gonna talk about Top Boy,
Okay,
which
go for it.
I was obsessed with and
Oh,
love
wow.
with. Obviously, I live in North London now, so
What part?
streets are like Seven Sisters.
Okay,
so
cool.
barren at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like everybody was in the house.
Of course, yeah.
But there were obviously loads of critiques, and I've
Yeah.
gotten into like real arguments with people who are really close to me over it. Obviously, it's visually very gorgeous to look at.
Yeah.
But a lot of people thought it was, you know, the same story. I
Yeah.
think, obviously, that until that story doesn't exist anymore, you have to keep telling it. Like,
Exactly.
it doesn't really help to not talk about it. But what do you think? What do you have to say against the critiques of?
As long as those environments exist, those stories are going to exist. I mean, this story is not new, but then you look at any council estate hood environment, and it's going to be the same stories. It's crabs in a barrel. People trying to get out and using the wrong way, lack of education or lack of opportunities will have them using the wrong way to try and get out. It really is what it is. Like, I mean, a lot of people have missed the point. You know, people who are protesting about it, saying, you know, not all of London is like that. Well, they didn't show all of London. They showed not only just a particular estate, a particular number of buildings in that estate. Now, within those council estate buildings, you might have someone that works as a nurse. You might have someone that works in the city. You might have somebody that goes to school. But that story wasn't about them. You know what I mean? There was a block of flats with maybe 300 apartments. This was based on 3 apartments and the whole thing. You can't say that the film is glorifying the whole area. I mean, these situations happen. Anybody who is from a street background or street mentality know that these things go down every day. Another thing is that it wasn't glamorizing, because no character in that program was aspirational. Right. There was nobody you could watch and say, I want to be like that. I want to be like Kano. I want to be like Ashton. Because they were all really in a bad way. You know what I mean? So if anything, it can act as more of a deterrent. You know what I mean? For kids who feel as though that is the right way to go in life. That's just my argument of it, man. I think people who are against it have their right to opinion. They might have their own personal reasons, but if you look at it from a logistical point of view, it's flawless, you know.
And do you think that you're going to get involved in any other projects that sort of talk about that?
Hopefully I get my fingers back. You know what I mean? Like so they're shooting a season 2, and I need to get my fingers back, or at least get some kind of revenge or something. So I'm hoping the directors write me into the script so I can jump on board. But you know, I'm a rapper, not an actor. Acting is something that I might delve into from time to time, but at this moment in my life, I just want to be an artist.
I'm not gonna lie, that freestyle with you and Asher and Kane, I probably put like 10,000 views on that myself.
Oh wow,
I
thank you.
Love that.
That's amazing.
Could you tell me who your favorite artist is based on content, not musicality?
Favorite artist based on content would have to be Eminem.
Any reason in particular? Is that the EP or the first?
Because he's one of the best syllabalistically. You know what I mean? He's created a new form of rhyming. He creates new rhyme patterns all of the time, and he always raises the bar consistently throughout his 15-year whatever span of a career.
Can you point to anyone in the UK who's doing that sort of same? Not the same. Obviously, it can't be the same.
There's a lot of great people in the UK that are doing a lot of things. I'd say Akala is one of them. What's going on, people? This is one and only Sway, and you're listening to Word on Road.